stars, and that's who we are. We are voices. There's nothing to fear. Explode in your rear. Feel our voices.
Go!
It's day 4 and I'm pumped up for wrestling. I don't feel are, man.
Bring shirts.
I'm having.
Bye, guys. We stay hyped.
I'm sorry. It's just it's Casual Friday, but I do Casual Fridays with Rage.
Yeah.
Casual Rage.
Casual Rage.
Every pair
That's
of
my wrestling name, actually.
and every pair of cargo shorts come with a complimentary mud hole that you're going to walk dry.
Guys, what show is this? What is this?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's called Voice of the Republic. Hey, this is Ed.
Mike.
And Carl, and we are joined today by the marvelous
Us.
I'm Casual Rage, Joe, and you are
Undercover sweater.
Undercover Sweater. Rusty.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, like Ed said, we are talking pro wrestling this week. I wanted to talk about something really important that happened, and I wrote about it on my website. But WWE launched a digital service called the WWE Network. So for $9.99 a month, you get their monthly pay-per-view, which is usually anywhere from like $39 to $60, $69. You get that plus an access to every single pay-per-view that they did, WCW has done in the past, and ECW did in the past, and other content, original content, and new content also with that, all for $9.99 a month. I personally think it's going to revolutionize television because if you look historically, the WWE has been at the forefront of television production. They're one of the first weekly shows to go high definition. It's their work that has actually developed and made better live transmission, satellite transmission, things of that nature. They've produced so much equipment and techniques that are used by everyone now in the television industry just because they're trying to make their brand better. And I think this is going to be the next thing for them. I think they're actually going to just blaze the way for AMC, Viacom, and these guys to start making their product available online without a cable company.
Well, in a lot of ways, it's continuing the splintering of entertainment options. You know, you have original programs on Hulu, you have original programs on Amazon. They've announced original programs for PlayStation's network and Xbox.
Yeah,
and this is just a further splintering of that.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's possibly the biggest splintering yet. And I think that they just announced their numbers, and they are almost to 700,000 subscribers. It was like 668,000, which is still shy of the 1 million that they wanted to hit. But that they haven't even released it internationally yet. This is just domestic United States, I believe. No, not even Canada. Or maybe Canada.
No, not Canada.
No, not Canada yet. So it's only United States. So you know, like they're putting in some real numbers, and each one of those people are paying $9.90 a month for a guaranteed 6 months because it requires a 6-month commitment. So they're actually locking these people into paying $10 a month. So you're looking at like $6 million of revenue gross that they're making off of this subscription, on top of the people that are still buying pay-per-views and the TV rights for Raw and SmackDown and all the merchandise. So they're really putting forth a viable market possibly for this sort of entertainment.
It's so amazing that it's becoming. There's no telling how this is all going to end, but I mean, we've already seen sort of.
It ends in death. That's
Well,
the end.
right, but I mean,
Ends
I'm
in
thinking
ass
in between. Yeah, it's the now and then, but like you've seen a splintering of like corporate entities in our lives, where a lot of corporations are taking more power, but you see a lot of splintering into startups, especially with the addition of the internet, creating services that will get you something that is personal and direct to you, this kind of more human interaction versus one company that controls all these other things. Like this company makes all your cleaning products, your appliances, and sponsors this news show that you watch every day. So a lot of people are no longer worried about corporate jobs. they're like, well, maybe the corporate world isn't for me. I have this talent. It's not really fitting within their roster of their definitions of business, but people like it, so maybe I can go out on my own. So there's like a definite splintering, and people are, what's the other big complaint about cable over all the years is, why can't I just get the 3 channels I want and not worry about just all this crap? I don't need Home Shopping Network. I don't need the religious programming. I don't need the foreign language. I don't watch movies.
It sounds like you do need the religious programming, Ed.
Someone needs Jesus.
This isn't that show.
Jesus!
We'll talk offline. Anyway, but that's what's amazing with media changing and game consoles becoming entertainment centers, and entertainment centers going towards things like Roku and merging with internet. By really having you choose whatever the hell you want to watch, and it's working. It's so exciting.
Well, it also benefits the media company in this case, because there are, at this time, I think 3 major, if you don't count movies, 3 major non-movie-based pay-per-view entities right now. There's the WWF or WWE, there's UFC, and then there's boxing. And so they're the ones that get the most overall, number of purchases. But when you sell your pay-per-views through a subsidiary like your Comcast, your Verizon, what have you, they take approximately, it could be more or less depending on your weight that you can pull around, approximately half. So you're giving away half the money that you're making. And so in a case like this, WWE, they're only making, they're taking $10 from you as opposed to 60 or 50, but they're getting to keep more of it. Mm-hmm. And they also they can also get a lot more people, entice them in than they can at that $60 price. You might have more people willing to spend $10 a month, and it'll offset the cost of the money that you're losing.
And it sounds like you're getting a whole lot more for your buck if you're able to access all these other properties. And did you say like you can get to like older archived specials and like wrestling events?
Yeah, all the WrestleManias from the past are available.
Oh my God, forget about it. That'd be great.
Yeah, because that's like, I don't know if people saw me tweeting about it, but when I first got to WWE Network, I was like, I'm fucking dead to the world for an entire week. Because I just sat around just watching like old WCW Starcades and War Games and then ECW pay-per-views and stuff. It was ridiculous. And you have all this content on demand. And and the other thing that WWE's doing is they're buying up these old companies. Like we were talking about in, I think it was episode 2, where we were talking about they bought up WCW. Well, not only did they buy up the current promotion, they bought all their old tape catalogs too. So they have all the old WCW events all the way after they actually broke off from NWA as their own standalone entity. So you had like decades of tapes just sitting around, and they weren't doing anything, so now they digitized them and made them available and used those to entice people. And I think what's really impressive, though, about the 600,000 people that subscribed so far, that's more combined than the total buy rate of the third quarter pay-per-views last year.
There you go.
Last year, I think they only hit about 500,000 total sales of pay-per-views across the third quarter. So they've locked in 600,000 people for 6 months. So for 2 quarters, I don't know how many of those people are going to stick around for the second half of the year. But if they're anything like anyone else I've talked to, the value of what you're getting for that $9.99 is going to be a no-brainer, and I only see the numbers going up at this point.
There are ways that it can draw in lapsed fans too, because you have people that don't watch the current product but have fond memories of the old shows. There's a value to them as well. Whether they follow along currently, they have access to all these things that they did watch as a child.
Mm-hmm. Right. And the nostalgia factor is always going to be huge. I mean, I'm a big nostalgia guy.
Is that right, Star Wars?
You can.
Is that right, Star Wars?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what you're talking about, but and it's also cool that it's on demand. Everything you want from the past, everything in between is on demand. I mean, like I'm not a big sports fan, but I like sports movies. So like when I know that ESPN Classic is out there, where I can watch a Super Bowl in a compartmentalized fashion, from any year. Like, oh my God, Eagles versus Redskins, a 78. I know that's not accurate. Don't. No, well, email me. That's fine. But if this is the best game ever, I'm like, cool. Yeah, I'll watch that. It was in a blizzard and there were streakers. Yeah, that sounds cool. Let's watch it. I'll totally watch that. It's cool that it's just right at your fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
And what this means for other franchises, maybe across the board. You can just pick and choose and subscribe. And this is like Carl said, they really are at the forefront of entertainment, taking this risk, but looks like it's paying off.
Well, I don't know that there's any factual numbers to back this up, but it's always been said that the new medias are pushed by a certain type of genre of entertainment. The growth of cassettes, video cassettes in the 80s, the growth of DVDs and such in the 90s, they're driven by a couple things. One of them is porn, and the other is wrestling. You get these entertainment industries that are made for these types of media, and they push the boundaries for the next round of things. And so this is them putting their neck out and trying something new.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and I think if UFC even has half brain in their head, they're watching the WWE Network right now because the UFC has already started following some of the stuff that WWE does. They're starting to do original content because they do the competitions where they get a bunch of aspiring MMA MMA fighters, and they're trying to compete for a contract through the UFC, which is something that WWE did years ago with the Tough Enough competition.
Well, actually, UFC does have their own version of the network, although it's pared down and a fraction of the content. It's called Fight Pass. And while you can't get their regular pay-per-view events on there, it does have a library of a lot of the footage from their back catalog. And they also put on smaller live events that wouldn't be fit for a pay-per-view. They would instead be shown on a TV station. So they have those live events on their version of the network too. It just started in January, and I think they only have a couple 100,000 subscribers so far. But they're not taking away their pay-per-view income, so they don't have to get as high a number of subscribers.
Gotcha. So it's more of a supplemental thing than a potential replacement.
Well, I mean, I'm almost certain what they're doing is they're going to watch and see what happens with the WWE Network.
Yeah.
They don't have to take the risk. There's somebody else already doing it.
Yeah, and I know the next person that's in line watching them is AMC, because AMC has been fighting with content providers like the cable networks and the dish networks, like DirecTV and Dish Network. They've been fighting with them forever about how much they get to keep of the income and everything. And I know, because I was talking to someone at WrestleMania when we were watching it, I mentioned this. I was like, well, AMC's going to be next in line. It was like, well, what are they going to do? All they have is Walking Dead. And I was like, yeah, but wouldn't you pay $9.99 a month to watch Walking Dead and then possibly Breaking Bad? It's kind of like HBO.
Yeah,
so many people pay
original entertainment.
Yeah, people pay $15 a month for HBO just because of Game of Thrones and True Blood, and they don't watch anything else on it. They don't watch any of the movies. They just watch 2 or 3 shows that they really, really like, and it's just that singular content that's making people pay the monthly fee.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's the deal for me.
I mean, cable networks, what they do is they get a carriage fee. For all the companies that carry their network, they get a small amount of money. Someone like ESPN gets a lot more of the overall subscriber money than AMC does, maybe. But so when the contracts come up for renegotiation, that's when they start butting heads. One of them wants a little bit more, and one of them wants, the networks obviously doesn't want to give up any. So, it would be a big leap for somebody like AMC to forego being on regular broadcast or cable television, and dedicate themselves to a niche of the market on the internet. They just don't. I don't know that they have the library yet to do that. But as you said, this could be where they go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and not to mention it could be risky for them because it is the library, and then just getting into what else do they have to offer. There's other things to watch on AMC, but is that enough to bring people to the table? Just these top-notch shows plus a lot of the same old blah 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 blah.
I think what's going to be really telling is when the licensing for shows like Breaking Bad, Mad Men, Walking Dead come up with Netflix and Hulu. And if they don't renew with those, get those off the other services, make themselves the exclusive streaming providers for these shows that a lot of people watch on those providers, you might see something like that happen, because they have what was it, like 8 seasons of Breaking Bad? Is that right, or was it 6 or something like that?
Actually, it's all on there now.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if they took that all off Netflix, boom, put that on AMC streaming.
It's roughly 6 seasons, yeah.
Yeah, so then you end up having that, and then you end up having Walking Dead. You have Mad Men. What was it? Hell on Wheels.
Hell on Wheels.
The Killing. You know, it's like all that stuff. Like that along with the movie rights that they own, they might be able to pull it off. I mean, like, it's going to be a couple years down the road, but I could see it happening. And I think of all the networks, they're probably going to be the first one, and then probably Viacom would be the second one, since they have such a huge network of networks.
I don't mean to change the course of the subject, but there were 2 subjects we had to get to, one of which was this man made a wrestler once, and his name was the Asp.
Let's do that. Let's do that, then we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up.
So I got an import wrestling game for the Nintendo 64. Actually, I believe it was probably stolen, but I believe that the store it was stolen from was run by an asshole, so I didn't care.
So a lot of guessing going on.
Yeah. Basically, I got this import game, and it was all in Japanese, so I had to figure out all the menus on my own and like look up translations online and things like that. And one of the strongest points of the game was they had a build your own wrestler feature. And so I came up with this wrestler that used all grappling moves, and not just grappling moves, ones where they would like jump and wrap around on you, and made this weird like 3-piece suit with almost like a Cobra Commander mask thing, and I called him the Asp. And so we'd sit and have like these wrestling matches on the game, and I would always get up on somebody, and then we'd go,
yeah, I remember when he introduced me to the Asp. He was like, watch this, and he's wrestling the computer, and every move, yes! And I was in tears. This little green freak rolling around on people.
Yeah, and yeah, it was like a little guy, too. There's all these like giant, you know, heavyweight type wrestler characters, and this little guy would like crawl up on them and stuff like a creep, and just that was good times.
Oh, I want a screenshot, man, so bad.
I think I still have the game. I gotta find that.
Yeah,
you need to video capture that and put that up on YouTube and become a viral success, and then you win.
According to the doctor, he's already pretty successful with viruses, so I don't know. He's pretty close.
Hey.
Viral success.
All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up so you guys can time travel back to Monday and watch Raw. So.
Word. Cool. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. It was really cool to kind of come in last minute and drop your knowledge.
Thanks for having us. You know, it was hard to make it every day at the same time, but we're happy to be here.
And for not changing clothes.
That's dedication to continuity right there.
No, that's just my laissez-faire attitude.
Yeah, it just worked out.
So, is there anything that you want to plug or say for parting words before we close this up?
No, we're not. We don't have it together enough to plug anything.
We're not
No cons coming up recently or anything or.
We're exhibiting at the. You know what, everybody? If you're in the Ann Arbor, Michigan area at some point in June, come see us at the Kids Read Comics Festival, and we'll hang out with some kids.
We'll be spoiling young minds in Michigan.
There we go. That's good
Outstanding.
stuff.
That's great, you guys.
And then SPX in September.
Yeah, and SPX in September. You should come out. We'll interview you, whoever you
We'll
are.
talk to any damn buddy. So.
Oh, see, I thought it was exclusive.
No, that was you guys are the ones
yeah.
that broke the mold.
Right.
After you, we're like, we got to open it up to all the
We said,
freaks.
screw it.
Thanks a lot.
Now I feel like I need to go to SPX just so I can keep up the tradition.
Yes.
There you go.
What are you here to promote this year? Nothing. I've got nothing going on. I'm really. I've got this strange rash.
But it's an indie rash. So
Yeah, it's an indie rash. It's very inclusive and it's really good for young adults.
Yeah. Tell them you got a fever. And comics is the cure. Right. So if you're just joining us, don't know what the hell's wrong with you. It's part 4. Go back and watch part 1. There's a playlist off to the side. You should check it out sometime. But hey, we'll be back next week with more of this kind of thing, this VOR thing. But between now and then, you can always join us over on Facebook. We have a group. It's very active. Very active. It's like, bringing it. I don't have my vocabulary. What is a very active wrestler? What do you call that? Is there a name?
A bump machine.
Yes.
Zero boo bumps.
That sounds worse than alligator. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So if you want bumps on your machine, you can take your machine over to the Facebook group, and links to all this stuff. We'll just cut out the middleman here. Well, actually, we're going to be the middleman and facilitate. VORradio.com is the easy way to get to us. And you'll have links to things like the Republicom, our voicemail, which is 407-409-8749, 2-minute limit. Tolls will apply, but like Carl said yesterday, use your cell phone. Email. We love it. We can read. Let's do it. voiceofrep@gmail.com. You can send us MP3s through email, and we'll totally play them. We don't even listen to them, so send us a little surprise. It's fun. And the other big news is that we will now be recording on Sunday nights instead of Monday, so you have more time to watch Monday Night Raw. But you do have to get your feedback in a little bit sooner. And I think that's all we got.
Yes.
But hey, also, if you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're listening on iTunes, subscribe. And cool, you'll get us for free whenever we're done. Just appear. Bing. Cool. You guys good?
Great.
Fantastic.
Get the hell out of here. All right. Till next week. May the Force
Be with us.
I'm not so hard. I sound like a nut.
Ass.
The asp.